Hello everybody, welcome to today's video, and in today's video we are going to talk about my MacBook Pro screen story and what happened with it. So I got my MacBook Pro back in 2020, and I didn't get the 2020 version, I got the 2019 version. And it has lasted me a while. It's like, because here's the reason why I got a MacBook, was so that way I could produce better content and better quality. So because for those who didn't know, I had to use my phone for editing biking vlogs and videos like that. And the thing about this is that there's only so much storage on the iPhone 8, that you can't get quality that's at a decent quality. So I went and got a MacBook, and I decided to make the content better, which is why I have a 4K camera, a computer that can get videos at 4K when iMovie decides it wants to do it. Sometimes it's not always at 4K. Sometimes it's at 720p because of the quality from the iMovie. But other than that, I mean, it pretty much works like it's supposed to work. I mean, but really nothing else to really say. I mean, and so we had moved to the Virgin Islands in December of 2020. So fast forwarding of about July of 2020, I mean not 2020, 2021, I was one day my MacBook Pro screen had broke, because I'm not going to get into details on how it broke, but it had broke, and I'm actually going to show you the damages here in a second. Alright, so this was the old screen. You can't really see it too good, but this here's the old screen. But as you can kind of see, the display is kind of crooked. I don't know if you can see it, but the display is bent. And when it was closed, you could notice that it was bent. So what happened is that, and you can kind of see, is that this type of screen uses the same type of screen that TV screen uses. TV screens, those type of screens. If anything damages this screen, it's going to crack this little thin layer, and it looks like it's glass. It's not glass, it's actually plastic. Most of these screens are plastic. And if something were to hit the screen hard, it could actually break the screen. And that's what happened with mine. It hit right here on the corner, and it bent the screen, and it completely destroyed it. I mean, it completely did not work at all. The screen did not work at all. Like, it was completely broken. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to let the camera focus for just a second. I don't know if you can I don't know if you could see the cracks, but there are these little cracks that are in the screen. You can even see at one point the screen is different. There's like this brown color part, and that's where the screen had completely cracked. It completely cracked the screen. Hang on, guys, we're gonna fix this for a second. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if the IR light's blocking it, but you see that little crack right there, right below the IRL light, the light that for night vision. See that little crack? Yeah. I mean, you can really see it here. But it was from right up there where it took the hit. So, being on a Caribbean island, there really wasn't much things. There wasn't a Best Buy, there wasn't any of that type of stuff. They had computer repair places, but I don't know. So I went 5 months until we moved back to the States to get my laptop fixed. And, yeah. So I came back to the States and I got my laptop fixed. And first we went to a Best Buy, which had Geek Squad there. And a person that worked for Geek Squad's like, oh, well, there's this other guy that is in town who does computer repair services, and would actually do it for a cheaper price, because they said it would cost like $500 to $1,000. Well, there's a bit of a concern there. So after I got it taken to, so we took it to this other place, and I'm not going to specify the place because I don't want to put the owner on the spot, but we went there, and they said that it was going to cost $1,000 to fix, considering because it's a silver. I mean, the reason why I went with silver is because I just thought that silver would look better than space gray. And I probably should have went with space gray instead of silver. And I probably should have gone with a 13-inch MacBook Pro. Instead, when I first bought it, I bought it as a 16-inch. Because I wanted everything. I wanted the whole computer. I wanted everything. All the features. Because the 13-inch doesn't really have as much features from what I saw from the device. But this thing costed $3,000 worth of money. $3,000 for that. Which I probably should have just bought the 13-inch, but I didn't. I just bought the 16-inch. And it was $3,000 worth of buying that. $3,000. Well, so I went and bought it, and I don't know if Best Buy hadn't have gotten new 2020s yet, but it's basically the 2019 model. So what was the iPhone back in 2019? That would have been like the iPhone 12 or something like that. Yeah, iPhone 12. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, 2019 would have been the iPhone 11. Anyway, but I mean, it's like this computer is like a year. It's not even the 2020 model. It's not even a 2020 model, which I don't understand, because you would think that it's almost the end of 2020. They would have the 2020 model. So I don't know why, but I don't know if I got ripped off or not, but It's not the 2020 version, although I got it towards the end of 2020. So we took it back to this place, and we went to the place that same day, and the person that owns the place, because it's kind of weird because there's two companies in the same building. And yeah, so we went to that company. So so there was this guy who said, okay, well, he's not here. We can go ahead and get a phone number down. We can and he can call you. So he goes and so we dropped the laptop off, and then the very next day, or the following day or something, he calls me, and I was actually sick that whole weekend, and I couldn't go in to get the computer fixed, and I was sick. And so it basically sat there the whole weekend until the Monday. We went in there, and he went over everything and basically said it would be $1,000 to replace it. So I gave him a month. So about a month later, right before Christmas, I got my Mac back, and and it's not. It maybe I should have granted, the screen works. I can use it, but there's a bit of a concerning problem. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, and I'm going to shut the light off to get you a better view. But what happened to my Mac was this had happened. So it was about not long after, maybe about a week after I got my laptop back. Around that time, I had noticed that there was this little bitty light that was coming out from the very side of the display here. And I'm thinking, well, what happened? How did that happen? So what I did was I had I noticed that and I thought maybe it was just like a little bit of, because when he had it shipped, he installed it and tested it out and covered it up. But I don't know if he had to put this back piece on. But what happened is this is defective because there is light showing from the very side of the bezel here. There's this little thin layer here that goes right here. It goes all around the display. And this here, there's basically a gap right here. And not only that, you can also see it at the very top of the display. At the top of the display. So you might be wondering yourself, well, how'd that happen? Was it defective? Or was it some kind of user error? So I called up the guy and I said, hey, why is the screen doing that? And his initial thought was it was because of the hinges that were putting pressure, causing the pieces to separate. That's what he said. Well, I took it in that day, and he didn't really know why it was doing that, so he tried to see if he could try to heat seal it. Because the thing about it is there's these little grommets that are apparently supposed to go up against the display, up against this little bezel here. So I'm like, well, that's just great. Well, then he couldn't fix it. So I'm like, well, that's just great. Now I spent in total in this Mac $4,000, and now I'm probably gonna have to spend even more money to get a new MacBook, and here's why. But before I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can only really see it from the side of the display. Now I'm gonna go back here behind the camera. Alright, so I don't know if you can entirely see it, but you see this little light that you see right here? That little light is what I originally had seen. And this little light here can become a problem. Because over time, the screen is all this is all going to be exposed. And the screen is eventually going to completely be exposed, and stuff can get inside of it and damage it. So I might end up having to get a new screen. Or get a new MacBook. Because I'm not putting any more money into this MacBook. Because it's not even worth it. I mean, I think there's also issues with the computer itself. There has been some like little glitches and bugs and things that's happened to it over the years, over the time, because I think that there were a couple times, you know, it might have damage from in the inside of the computer, and so yeah, that's just interesting. Now I don't know if you can see it, but if I turn the display completely towards the camera, you can see all that. You guys see all that? You see that? That exposed light is what I'm talking about. Okay, so now with night vision on, I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, that is this, almost the whole entire side of this display is exposed. Now, if you were to get a good look at the side here, you actually see that you can actually see the black light, the backlight from inside. So yeah, so as you can see, the side light's exposed. Alright, so as the camera's focusing, you can actually see, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but you see all that light that's coming out on the side. When the display is halfway to closed, that's what it looks like the screen is going to fall out. And you can see the exposed light. Oh, I need to like really clean my computer. Then, listen. I'm gonna do it again. Listen. Listen really good. You can kind of hear a bit of like a creak when it closes. So, damage-wise, on the bottom, there's a couple dents on the outer case. I mean, you could just replace this outer case, but I mean, other than that, I mean, this little area here got scratched, but I mean, other than that, there's not really any damages on it. Now, of course, there is one little thing that happens, and that is the fingerprints that get on the display, and it's pretty much almost impossible to get rid of. So I went and looked up on reviews of the place that I went and did the repair on, and it had said, there was this one review saying that someone got their laptop screen fixed, and they said that the molding around their screen was cracked. So what does this tell you? I think that this is not the first time that he has dealt with this. I don't know if it was something, because like he said, when I had called him up, he like cut me off like mid-sentence, like saying, "Oh, it's the it's the thing from the hinges." So this might not have been the first time that his display had had been cracked. I mean that the molding has been cracked, and they said that it was cracked, and that's what he said, that the molding was cracked, which means that this is not the first time that someone has had the same issue like I have. You know, it could have been on a, now if it was on a Windows PC, then that would be more understood. That would be probably, because the thing about it is, around the edge, there's not much wiggle room between the display and the actual screen. And if that separates, then that's what's probably going to happen. But I know I didn't, when I always open it, I always open it from the very bottom, from this little open lip area. And I think that what happened was, I don't know if it was a mistake. I don't know if something had happened when he had changed it, or something happened to it. I really don't know if anything happened to it. I don't know if something was, how it was caused, but about how it was caused and what happened. I don't know if it was something that he must have did accidentally, may not have noticed, or maybe it was defective from the Apple factory back in, where is it, China? Yeah. Because the thing is, although that Apple was located in California, they get all their products from China. So I don't know if it got damaged in shipping or what, but I mean, if it was already messed up like that, he probably would have noticed it and probably would have given me a refund, or probably would have sent it back and get another one. I mean, I'm sure that there's a way that could be happening, but pretty much there's nothing I can do about it, and there's nothing he could have done about it. So now I'm pretty much screwed. Yeah, I'm pretty much screwed, because now I'm gonna have to go and buy a new laptop. Because the reason why I think about that is because the computers, like there were like these glitches, like sometimes apps would, like websites and the applications on there would close, and not only that, but whenever I like full screen or page or a window, it basically like has this like red flicker of red. Like, I might be able to show you it. Swing around here. Right, so let's go into an application. Let's go onto YouTube. Okay, I open up YouTube. Of course, it takes forever because the internet where I'm at is terrible. And I mean, by the way, I'm not hating on the computer guy. I'm just saying that, you know, it just happened. So if I enter full screen, alright, it didn't do it there. Let's go to iMovie. Let's go to my iMovie. Which, yes, I know I could use Final Cut Pro, but I prefer not to spend the money. Alright, it didn't do it there. It's like these flickers at times. Like, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in on the page. But I mean, it like depends on the page. Like, sometimes there's these flickers of red. Like, we need something that will have me full screen. I mean, it typically... Did you see that? That's what I'm talking about. it like does these flickers of red whenever. I mean, I don't think that when the guy replaced it, I don't think that he knows anything out of the ordinary. But I mean, there's little dents. Could that have something to do with it, or maybe it's just the Mac's just defective because of the screen. But I never noticed it until the screen had broke on here, and I hadn't have noticed it until the screen broke. So basically, yeah, that's just the way things are going. Oh, it's on my camera. So basically, I have to go and buy a new Mac if I want a MacBook. Now, of course, I mean, and believe me, Apple products are not cheap. You get what you pay for when you get an Apple product. I know there's a lot of people that hate against Windows and hate against Apple and hate against pretty much everything. I mean, people are just fanboys, that type of stuff. But I mean, the reason why I chose to get a Mac is because I wanted to have the best of editing, get the best of editing, so that way I can produce more higher quality content to you. And, being able to do it on the go and all that type of stuff, it really works out good. Now, does that mean I'm going to have to go buy a new Mac? I'm going to eventually have to buy a new Mac, but I don't want to have to spend the money right now. So I'm going to try to keep the screen alive and hopefully it doesn't fall out or break again. And knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But I mean, it's just really difficult to, and I mean, I'm not hating against the computer repair guy. I think that, and I think that he's a professional, but I mean, to spend $1,000 on a display and then end up having to possibly have to get another new one in the future, it's not something you want to do. And I'm not putting any more money in this Mac. I'm just going to have to get a new one. But it's expensive. I mean, $3,000 on a MacBook, it's not cheap. And, and Apple Care would not have covered for the screen getting broken. And, that's just what happened. And I mean, it's just like decisions, like I bought a new iPhone back in, what was it, December or something? I bought a new iPhone back in December. And, so, I mean, it's just the way Apple, but I mean, I think that had he had known that my computer was, and then if it was having that little cracked issue, then he probably should have returned it back. But, because he's, like a small business, basically, and he basically does it all himself. And I mean, perhaps maybe I should have had it taken officially in the Apple and just had Geek Squad do it. Because I mean, now here's the thing about the guy that told me to go to this other computer place. Like why would you want me to go to another computer repair place instead of supporting your business? Know that you like to have your business, but here's the thing about me. I'd rather have it done professionally than to save the money. And I mean, it really didn't make much of a difference. $1,000 versus what they were going to charge me at Geek Squad. I probably should have got down to Geek Squad, and probably this whole cracked screen thing would not have happened. I mean, that's my own opinion. I mean, I don't mean to hate against the guy, but I mean, granted, he did get it done, but I mean, I think that he should have checked it real good before he had told me it was ready. And I mean, I wasn't there that day. Well, he wasn't there when I went and picked it up. I picked it up. I picked it up later, and he wasn't there. So he didn't get to explain. But he gave me the other copy of my other screen, which I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might either throw it in the garbage or possibly sell what's salvageable on it, and probably sell it for money. I mean, I really don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching today's video. Make sure to like, you guys comment, you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.